Welcome to my Rewriting RWBY series, where I rewrite RWBY for my own personal taste. I hope you enjoyed the series as much as I do. Now on to part 4 of the Rewriting RWBY series. Professor Port went around the area to make sure that the Vale army did not miss any of the Grimm. He told Team RWBY and Team Juniper to stay guard until he returned. The citizens went back to the building and tried to get some sleep. Before the soldiers left, they took Herman's body so it could be better taken care of. A memorial was going to be planned for those that were lost during the 2 Grimm attacks. Team RWBY and Team Juniper sat around the fire that was closest to the broken wall. RWBY looked defeated as she knew she failed when she left without waking anyone. Yang looked worried about her little sister and wondered if she could do anything to help her. Ren and Nora were worried about the merged King Taijutsu as it reminded them of something in their past. Weiss could not get the picture of her father kneeling in front of the Geistgrim controlling the knight armor out of her head. Pierre was concerned about Jean, but was also wondering about his words. "You are the best huntress at school." Was that all she was to them? Jean felt like a failure that cost a man's life, as he felt it was his fault that Herman died. Blake thought back to her fight with Ilya, and all that the White Fang had done. She wanted to see the pictures on Jerry's camera, but chose not to, in case it would drive her to do something she would regret. "It's all my fault," RWBY said with an uneasy voice. "What do you mean, all your fault?" "Of course it's not your fault," Yang said. "But it is. If I would have just woken all of you up when I saw Torchwood, then you would have been alerted to the Grimm attack sooner. And if you were, who knows what would have happened," RWBY said as tears formed in her eyes. "But I thought I could handle it myself. I was a fool, and in way over my head. I fell for Torchwood's bait, and I lost. I don't deserve to be a leader or a huntress. Professor Ozpin made a mistake. He made a mistake accepting me into Beacon. He made a mistake making me leader. And he made a mistake putting me on this mission," RWBY said as she tried to hide herself under her hood. "RWBY, no. I'm the only one who made a mistake," Yang said. "Yang, you can't always be there to protect me. No, this is on me," RWBY said. "RWBY, I'm sorry. I thought I lost you, just like that night," Yang said as she hugged RWBY. "Yang, RWBY said as she hugged her sister back. "What happened?" Weiss asked. Yang looked down as she said, "When we were very young, our mom died. After, we both thought that she was somehow still alive. So one day we headed out trying to find her. We were very young at the time, and when we arrived at an old ruined shed, we went inside hoping to find her. Instead, we were met with a Grimm. We tried to fight it. Even our semblances unlocked that night. Ruby's when we were about to be killed by it. She saved us. But even after that, we could not escape, and RWBY was knocked out. I thought she was going to die, as a hound-like Grimm had her in its mouth. My semblance unlocked, and with all my might I punched the Grimm. The Grimm let RWBY go, but it was uninjured, and seemed to laugh at me. It attacked me, and sent me down to the ground, defeated. With my last bit of strength, I tried to reach RWBY, as the Grimm grabbed her with its mouth. Just when I thought all hope was lost, our Uncle Crow arrived and saved us. Uncle Crow told me after that the Grimm escaped, and that he had never seen a Grimm act like that before. Ever since then, I've been a little overprotected of my little sister. I'm sorry, RWBY," Yang said. "No, I'm sorry, Yang. I always run off thinking I can handle it myself, but I can't," RWBY said, still hiding herself under her hood. Jean looked down as he thought, "I'm the only one here that can't handle himself." Blake looked at RWBY as she thought, "She runs into danger, while I run away from it." "And that is why you're such a bad leader," Weiss said. "You run off without thinking." "Weiss, that's my little sister you're talking about," Yang said, looking at Weiss with dart-like eyes. "She needs to hear the truth, or she will never learn, and I don't want to be stuck with a bad leader for 4 years," Weiss said. "Besides, we all get over our heads every now and then. As long as we survive and learn from our mistakes, that is all we can do." "So you do care about us," RWBY said with a slight smile while still hiding under her hood. "Of course I care about you guys. You are my friends, and I never want to see a friend kneeling like that again," Weiss said. "Kneeling like what?" Yang asked. Weiss looked down into the fire as she said, "When Ruby was kneeling in front of that girl, it reminded me of when my father was kneeling in front of a knight's armor. The knight armor was being controlled by a geist. It was about to kill him, and I was barely able to save him. That is how I got this scar." Weiss pointed to the scar on her left eye. "My father never wanted me to learn to fight, but after that he changed and told me that this world is changing and that we need to change with it. I didn't understand what he meant, but afterwards he allowed me to go to Beacon and become a huntress. When I asked, he just said it would be good to have someone who can protect us if the need arises. I was happy that my father was finally going to let me become a huntress, especially after what happened to my sister when she became one. My father disowned her and cut her off from the family's money. I thought he would do the same to me when he found out I could fight, but it seems I was wrong," Weiss said, looking deep into the fire. "He disowned your sister? What kind of monster disowns their own kid?" Nora asked. "My father has never been a good person, even to my mother. He used her in order to get my grandfather's money, and that was the only reason he married her and took her family name," Weiss said as she angrily looked into the fire. "Still, he is my father, and he has always been kinder to me than to others, even to my brother, though that isn't saying much," Weiss said as she looked down. Blake looked down into the fire as she thought. "My parents were nothing like that. They were kind, and they were always there for me and Ilya, no matter how much we messed up. I wonder if they would disown me if they knew what I did." "What a monster," Nora said. "Parents should be there for their kids and help them, not disown them." "You're really upset about this, aren't you?" Yang asked. "You will have to excuse Nora. Her parents were killed before she could remember," Ren said as he put an arm around Nora to comfort her. Nora looked down as she said, "Yeah, I would have given anything to have a mom or a dad, but it's okay because I have Ren." Everyone looked at Ren and Nora as Pierre asked, "I thought you told me you weren't together." Ren and Nora blushed as Nora said, "I mean, we are together, but not together together. You know, we have always been looking after each other, ever since the day my parents died," Ren said as he looked into the fire. "It was the day the Grimm attacked our village, and a horse Grimm and an imp Grimm merged to create the V Grimm. We were the only survivors due to my semblance unlocking," Ren said. "My dad tried his best and was able to deal some damage to the V. In fact, he was the one that forced the two Grimm to merge in the first place. But in the end, he fell like everyone else," Ren said as he looked up into the stars. "Yeah, and we have been together ever since," Nora said as she held Ren's hand. She and Ren blushed as they noticed what she just said, and then she continued, "Not together together, just together, okay? Stop looking at us like that." "It's good that you two have found a true friend in each other," Pierre said. "What do you mean? I thought we were all friends here," Ruby said, still hiding under her hood. Pierre looked down as she said, "I never had any real friends before. When I became famous, my old friends used me so they could become famous, and any new friends I made were just the same. They only wanted to become my friend so they could get their chance in the spotlight." "We don't care about that," Yang said. "Yeah, we're friends because we like you," Ruby said. "Do you really feel that way?" Pierre asked. "Of course we do," Nora said. Pierre smiled as she said, "You don't know how much that means to me. Finally, real friends that I can count on, and they can count on me." "You may not want to be my friend once I tell you how I got into Beacon," Jean said. "What are you saying, Jean?" Pierre asked. "I shouldn't be here. I cheated to get in, and that old man died because of it," Jean said as he kicked a rock as tears formed in his eyes. "That old man's blood is on my hands, because I thought I could be a huntsman. Any real huntsman could have handled that Grimm, and then that old man wouldn't be dead. It's my fault he died," Jean said as he broke down. "But Jean, you're the smartest person in school," Nora said. "But I can't fight, and a huntsman that can't fight is not a huntsman at all," Jean said. "Then I'll teach you," Pierre said. Jean looked up at Pierre as he said, "You will? Can't be serious." "I am," Pierre said with a smile. "I can see it in you. One day you will become a great huntsman. You are already a great leader, and your paddle tactics are incredible. All you need is someone who can teach you to fight, and then you will become a great huntsman." "But I cheated to get into Beacon," Jean said. "I wish cheating was the worst thing I ever did." Blake said as she stared at the flames in the fire. Blake, what are you saying? Yang asked as everyone looked over at Blake. Blake slowly undid her bow to reveal her cat ears as she said, I was once part of the White Fang. Everyone stared at Blake in shock as Weiss yelled, The White Fang? You were part of them? Do you know what they do to people? To people I knew? Weiss, let's let Blake explain, Yang said. Explain? How about explaining why the White Fang took people from the She Dust Company? People that did nothing wrong. People I knew. People I cared about, Weiss said as she looked down into the fire. The White Fang didn't always do that. I know they do now, and I'm sorry for that, Blake said, looking down. Weiss stared at Blake as she asked, What did you do before you left the White Fang that was so bad? Blake stared at the fire, unable to look Weiss in the eyes, as she said, I tortured a Schnee Dust employee for information. His name was Edward, and I will never forget the terror in his eyes. I didn't want to do it, but Adam has a way of slowly getting you to do things you never thought you would do. Adam, and to a lesser extent Sienna, led the White Fang down the road of violence and terror, and all for the cause of helping the Faunus. But I know now that what they're doing only gives the humans a real reason to hate the Faunus. After realizing how far I had fallen, I ran from the White Fang, and I hoped to join Beacon and become a huntress to make up for what I've done, Blake said, unable to look up. Edward? Do you mean Edward Smith, the head of the transport department at Schnee Dust Company? Weiss asked sternly, with anger in her eyes. Yes, Blake barely managed to say. He was a good man that had a family, and now he's gone because of you, Weiss yelled. I didn't kill him. Adam wanted me to. He seemed to get a thrill out of forcing me to do these things. But I didn't kill him. Adam did. After he was angry at me, and that same terror in Edward's eyes was now in mine, Blake said as tears ran down her cheeks. But you did torture him. You tortured an innocent man, Weiss said. I have no excuse. I know what I did was wrong, and now I am trying to make up for it, Blake said, unable to hold back tears. You have to understand, at the time I was convinced that there were no innocent humans, and all of them were bad and hated the Faunus. I know now that is not true, but at the time Ada had me convinced it was true. You should be in jail for what you did, Weiss said. Weiss, don't you think that's a little harsh? Yang said. Harsh? The only thing that is harsh is the way the White Fang treated Edward. I know my father had his issues, especially with the Faunus, but that doesn't give the White Fang the right to kidnap, torture, and kill someone, Weiss said. But don't you think people deserve a second chance? Nora asked. Weiss looked down as she said, I know we all make mistakes, but I think the White Fang has gotten enough chances. Ren looked deep into the fire as he said, People do wrong things for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes out of survival, sometimes out of fear, sometimes by being manipulated by others, and sometimes they are just evil, plain and simple. If we believe what Blake said, and she did these things because she was manipulated by this Adam, then I think we should give her a second chance. Nora looked at Ren as she grabbed his arm and asked, Ren, I think we need to tell them. Ren looked at Nora as he shook his head yes, as Nora said, Ren and me are not strangers to the criminal life. You see, Ren grabbed Nora's hand as he said, we worked for criminals. After our home village was destroyed, we worked for little Miss Malachite's gang called Spider in Mistro. Just odd jobs here and there. It wasn't much, but at least we were able to survive. When one of the jobs had Nora and me crossing the line, we left and stopped taking jobs from them. After, we wanted to do good, so we took off on a journey to join Beacon. Great, just great. Our little group has a cheater that can't fight, 2 formal criminals, and a former member of the White Fang. Half of us shouldn't even be here, Weiss said. Ruby, still hiding under her hood, asked, Don't you think they deserve a second chance? After all, we all make mistakes, like I did when I chased down Torchwick. Yeah, we all can't be perfect like you, Yang said. Weiss looked down as she said, I'm not perfect. Far from it. When my father disowned my sister, I was happy. happy that I was now the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company. Sure, I felt bad for my sister, but I was now the heiress. Only when I saw what my sister had to endure did I realize that I was acting selfish. My older sister, who was always there for me, was suffering, and I was only thinking about myself. I hope she can forgive me one day. I suppose if I expect someone else to give me a second chance, then I should give the rest of you one as well, Weiss said. But where do we go from here? Ruby asked, looking down into the fire. We are all messed up, but these people are depending on us to protect them. They all looked down as Jean said, we do the best we can and work hard to make sure we continue to do better. That old man died because I couldn't fight. So tonight I will train, so I can do better tomorrow. Pyrrha, you said you would train me, right? So how will we start now? I suppose we can start now, but aren't you tired? Pyrrha asked. I need to be tired if I am ever going to catch up with the rest of you, Jean said. Jean and Pyrrha walked a little bit away from the campfire. Pyrrha was giving Jean instructions on the basics of fighting. Everyone else continued to look down into the campfire, pondering Jean's words and how they could do better for these people that needed them. The next day, Professor Ozpin was in his office going over everything he learned from Professor Port last night. He was currently looking at the pictures more closely to see if there was anything he could have missed. Why did everything have to happen at once? It is clear these Grimm attacks and the bombings are connected. But what about the attack on Amber? If what Crow told me is correct, then it meets the description of the White Fang, which connects them to these other problems. If this is all Salem, like I suspect, then she must have gotten the information on Amber from someone. I have to figure out who, and I must convince the Consul to take these Grimm attacks more seriously. However, with all the missing information and everything, someone on the Consul may also be connected to this whole mess. I will need to figure that out as well. But for now, the issues at hand are these Grimm attacks and making sure Amber is safe. Once these are taken care of, I can figure out who the traitors are. Ozpin thought. Sir, your meeting with the Consul is about to begin, a woman's voice from the speaker said. Thank you for reminding me, Ozpin said as he started a video call with the Consul. The Consul meeting started, and there were two sides. One side, led by He Junior Xiong, wanted to ignore the Grimm attacks and focus just on the bombings, while the other side, led by Ozpin, wanted to focus on both the bombings and the Grimm attacks. Didn't you see the pictures, Hay? They are very clearly pointing to Torchwick and the White Fang being behind both the bombings and the Grimm attacks, Ozpin said. Some little girl took some pictures. We have no way of knowing where she took the pictures. For all we know, she could have been at the site of the bombings, He Xiong said. The debris from the Grimm attacks are in the background of the pictures, and we know for sure the White Fang tried to steal her camera just last night, Ozpin said. You expect me to believe that the White Fang are behind the Grimm attacks? I've never heard of such a thing. How would they even do it? No human can control the Grimm. It's just like those crazy conspiracy theories, He Xiong said. Some of those crazy conspiracy theories turned out to be true, and if they had been taken more seriously at the time, people's lives could have been saved, Ozpin said. He Xiong was about to speak, but another member of the Council, Tiffany, stopped him and said, we are arguing in circles now. Should we put it up to a vote? They agreed, but Ozpin had a feeling he knew where this would go. The Council voted 3-2 in favor of focusing on stopping the bombings. He Xiong was smiling, but still a bit concerned, as he thought, I can't believe those pictures were enough to win over one of the Council members. Since according to at least 3 of you here, Vale cannot handle both the Grimm attacks and the bombings, I propose we ask one of the 3 other kingdoms to assist us in these matters, Ozpin said. What? Are you proposing we have another kingdom come in with their army to occupy Vale? Are you crazy, Ozpin? He Xiong said. We have had several Grimm attacks. 2 of the most recent had Grimm make it within Vale's walls, all at the site of a broken wall. If we cannot fix them and fix the broken wall, then we need to ask one of the other kingdoms for help, Ozpin said. Which kingdom do you propose? Iris asked. Atlas, as Atlas has the largest military and would be the kingdom that can spare the most men, Ozpin said. What? And have Ironwood here with his army, like an invasion? Do you want him to take over Vale? He Xiong asked. Ironwood is an ally and someone I trust. Who would you ask for help, He? Ozpin asked. Mistral, of course. He is the only ally Vale can really trust, He Xiong said. I thought Mistral had their hands filled with bandits or something, Harry said. They do, but I'm sure they can spare a few. It's just a broken wall. They wouldn't need to send much, He Xiong said. If it is that easy, then why can't we handle it ourselves? Iris asked. Well, listen, it's just the bombings require our full attention, He Xiong said. Again, we are arguing in circles. Let's just vote to see if we need another kingdom's help or not, and then we can ask Ozpin to ask which kingdom can spare the resources, Tiffany said. Why should Ozpin be the one? He Xiong said. Because he already has huntsmen and huntresses at the site of the scene, which means he knows the details better than any of us. Along with that, he has a great relationship with the council members of the other kingdoms, especially the headmasters of the schools, Iris said. We'll vote on who it should be as well. Okay, He Xiong? Let's just get this over with, as I am sure we are all very busy with everything that has been happening, Tiffany said. Fine, He Xiong said. They voted 4-1 in favor of asking another kingdom for support, along with Ozpin being the one to ask the other kingdoms for help. Ozpin ended the call with the console. After which, Ozpin called Ironwood, asking for his help, and gave him all the details he had about the situation in Vale, including his thoughts on a traitor. I think Hay revealed his hand, and the traitor is a Mistral, but we cannot be for sure, Ozpin said. Once I arrive at Beacon, what are we planning to do with Mistral and Hiei? Ironwood asked. I need more evidence, and that's what I'll get. But first we need to handle the problems at hand, Ozpin said. Agreed. Should I send a team to help Crow? Ironwood asked. I already sent Glinda, and this is something we want to keep close to our chest, if we can help it, Ozpin said. Oz, do you really think she is finally making her move? Ironwood asked. I suspect so, which is why I need your help, James, Ozpin said. I am happy to assist you in any way I can, Oz, Ironwood said as they ended the call. Time passed as Ozpin thought about what to do next, while also concerned about Amber and the others that were in danger. His scroll rang, which he picked up. Hello, Ozpin speaking, Ozpin said. Hey Oz, Amber's as safe as can be given whatever happened to her, but things are getting messy here, so it's going to take longer to get back to Beacon, Crow said. I sent Glinda on a plane. She should have arrived by now, Ozpin said. I have, but the plane got destroyed, Goodwitch said. Listen, things are getting tricky. The group in Grimm Mass are not the only ones hunting us. You know that serial killer from a while back that we thought died in a plane crash? Crow asked. Yeah, Tyrion Collos. What about him? Ozpin asked. Well, it turns out he's alive, and he's working for Salem now, Crow said. I see. At least now we don't have to keep guessing. We now know for sure that Salem is making her move, Ozpin said. And he is also working with the three that attacked Amber. They have been trying to finish the job of stealing the fallen maiden from her. We managed to stop them, but I have a feeling they will be hunting us all the way back to Beacon. We are closer to Mistral. Should we start heading that way? Crow asked. No, I still don't know who gave Salem the information about Amber. Right now, Leonardo is looking like the prime suspect. I will send another plane with Bartholomew when he gets back from his mission, but he is the last huntsman I would be able to spare. If it comes down to it, I can ask Ironwood to send a team, as he is currently sending his army to Vale to help us out, Ozpin said. I think we'll make do, but what about Vale? Things seem bad if you need to ask Ironwood for help, Crow asked. There was another Grimm attack. Same place as last time, the site of the broken wall. Peter is leading a mission there with both Team RWBY and Team Juniper. Along with this, there were more bombings on the other side of Vale. Due to these bombings, the Council is ordering their force there instead of the broken wall, Ozpin said. How are they doing? I mean, you put them on a big mission, and they just started at Beacon, Crow said. From what Peter told me, your nieces are doing fine, though the attack did take a toll on them. I apologize, Crow. I am in a difficult situation with everything that is going on, and on top of that, I have reason to believe we have another traitor within the Vale Console as well. As for the kids, unfortunately they are going to have to grow up fast, and are going to have to learn through a trial by fire. It is not ideal, but I have a good reason to put them through this, Ozpin said. I know you do, Oz. I just wish they didn't have to go through this so soon, Crow said. Keep Amber safe and stay in touch, Ozpin said. Okay, Oz, make sure nothing happens to those two kids, Crow said. I will, Ozpin said as he hung up the scroll. Ozpin looked at a book on the wall, as he thought, I hope I'm not changing anything. Torchwick was in a hideout close to the broken wall as his scroll rang, which he answered. Hello? Listen, Torchwick, we are going to be delayed. My mission has taken an unexpected turn, Cinder said. Well, things aren't going good here either. The second Grimm attack failed. Vale sent in their army, Torchwick said. I thought you had that taken care of. You said that Vale's console was in your hands, Cinder said. They are, but some of the Veiled generals don't follow orders too well, or they keep taking orders from Ozpin. Also, Ozpin sent a 9-man team to guard the broken wall, Torchwick said. And let me guess, she's one of the 9, Cinder said. How did you know? Torchwick asked. Your tone gave it away, Cinder said. Well, unless we get more Grimm, I think we're going to have to move to Site B, Torchwick said. Giving up already? I didn't count you as a quitter, Cinder said. How can there be a Grimm attack with no Grimm? Torchwick said. I'm sure you can think of something, Cinder said as she hung up the scroll. Torchwick looked at his scroll a bit upset as Neil came in showing a picture of the merged King Taijutsu Grimm. You are a genius, Neil. If we can't have quantity, then we will take quality. It should also attract smaller Grimm as well. However, we need more. Does anyone know of any King Taijutsu Grimm in the area? Torchwood asked. I know where to find a few, Adam said as he walked in. Ilya, who was by herself in a corner, got up excited to see Adam. Well, look who it is. Listen, if you can't keep Vale's army off of us, then you should let someone else handle the job, Torchwood said. The bombings were done to perfection. It is Vale's generals that don't like to take orders. Maybe your Hei Xiong should fire them and hire those who will listen, Adam said. What about Ilya over there? You gave me to her because you said she could handle things. She failed to get a camera from a little girl, Torchwick said. That's not fair. She was a little Faunus girl. I didn't want to hurt her. And Blake was the one that stopped me, Ilya said. Torchwood was about to speak, but Adam stopped him as he pulled out his sword and said, Enough! I will talk to Ilya and make sure she won't fail again. Leave us. Torchwood and Neil left the room, but as they did, Neil looked back, a little concerned for Ilya. Adam, please. I'm sorry I failed. I'll do better. But as Blake, she was like a sister to me, and she was your... Ilya said as Adam cut her off. Blake is in the past. From what you have told me, she has become a full-on race traitor, Adam said as he grew closer to Ilya. But you, on the other hand, could take her place by my side. Adam touched Ilya's cheek as his face grew closer to hers. Adam drew back just when Ilya grew closer as he said, But you still need to prove yourself. Prove to me that you can replace Blake and be by my side. Ilya was breathing heavy as she said, Okay, what do you want me to do? I want you to kill the race traitor, Adam said. You want me to kill Blake? Ilya asked. But she was one of us. She was, but not now. She made her choice and must suffer the consequences, Adam said. Don't you agree? Ilya looked down as he said, Of course. It's just... Adam slammed his sword against the table, cutting it in two as he said, I don't care what Blake was in the past. She's a race traitor now. And that means she must die. If it's too much for you, I can do it myself, Adam said. No, I'll do it, Ilya said, scared. But what about her parents? Adam looked at Ilya as he touched her cheek again, as he said, You're right. We can't kill Blake until we deal with them. In that case, remind her what happens to blood traitors. Ilya was scared, but also strangely excited, and as Adam left, she fell to her knees breathing hard as she thought, What am I going to do? Well, that's the end of part 4 of the Rewriting RWBY series. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.